2 months had passed since Tunde's arrest, and his fate hung in the balance. The media frenzy surrounding his case had reached a fever pitch. Headlines screamed, "Billionaire's son accused of murder," and "The Pleasure Den mystery, who killed Precious?" Tunde stood trial for a crime he couldn't explain, a crime no one believed he didn't commit. The public had already convicted him in their minds. To them, he was a spoiled rich kid who had snapped under the influence of drugs, strangling a young woman who had refused his advances. One afternoon, Tunde's sister, Abike, overheard a group of friends by the poolside discussing her brother's case as she walks by. "That guy is a murderer," one said confidently. "I heard he was high on drugs and killed that girl because she refused him. He'll rot in jail, and he deserves it." Abike's blood boiled. She stormed over, her drink in hand, and poured it over the man who had spoken. "You're all liars!" she shouted, her voice trembling with rage. "Why do you people always push false narratives? My brother is innocent. He didn't kill anyone. You'll see, he'll be vindicated." She turned and walked away, her heart pounding. But deep down, even she had questions. The next day, Abike visited Tunde in prison. The sight of her brother, once so vibrant and full of life, now haggard and broken, brought tears to her eyes. "Why are you doing this to us?" she demanded, her voice shaking. "Since you came back, Daddy has had 2 heart attacks, and our company's stocks are crumbling. Is this your revenge for being sent abroad? Daddy gave you everything, and this is how you repay him?" Tunde's eyes filled with tears. "Abike, you know me," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. "You know I'm innocent. I didn't kill anyone. I just need to find out what's really going on. I need to get to the bottom of this." Abike sighed, her anger giving way to despair. "But you can't get out, Tunde. This is a murder case. No amount of lobbying can get you bail. Daddy has exhausted all his connections. He's lost respect, credibility, everything." Tunde buried his face in his hands, his shoulders shaking with silent sobs. A few days later, Tunde's lawyer, a no-nonsense woman named Mrs. Ransom, visited him. "Listen," she said, her tone firm. "I'm not your friend, and I'm not your sister. I'm your savior. But to save you, I need the truth. The whole truth. If you lie to me, I can't help you." Tunde nodded and began to recount the events of that fateful night. The pleasure den, the mysterious woman, the potion, the snake, the chase, and the horrifying discovery of Precious' body. Mrs. Ransom listened intently, her expression unreadable. When he finished, she sighed heavily. "This case is going to be difficult to prove," she said. "There's no CCTV footage, no witnesses, no alibi. The best we can do is to try and get you out of here. I'll speak to your father and arrange a meeting with the judge." The meeting with the judge took place in secret, late at night, on the outskirts of town. "This is a serious case," the judge said, his voice low. "There's nothing I can do openly. But there is one way." He leaned forward, his eyes narrowing. "You can pay the warders to replace your son with another prisoner. Tunde will be smuggled out, and the replacement will remain on trial indefinitely. The media won't notice, and your son can leave the country. But he must never return, unless he undergoes facial surgery to change his appearance. This will cost you a lot of money, if we're going to keep it hidden. But I know you are capable." Mr. Adebayo felt a chill run down his spine. The plan was risky, unethical, dangerous, and expensive. But what choice did he have? A few days later, Tunde was blindfolded and led out of his cell. He was shoved into a black Mercedes SUV and driven to his family home. "Pack your bags," his father said as soon as he walked through the door. "We've arranged a private jet to take you back to the UK. You leave tonight." Tunde nodded numbly and went to his room to pack. But as he folded his clothes, his phone rang. It was Dosun, his childhood friend, the same friend that took him to the pleasure den. "I'm glad you're out," Dosun said, his voice tense. "But it'll be disappointing if you never find out what really happened. What if you go back to the UK and the nightmares continue?" "I have answers, Tunde. I know about the potion. I know what happened to Precious." Tunde froze. You knew all this time and didn't come forward. I've been smuggled out of prison like a fugitive, and you're just telling me this now. I've been investigating, Dosun replied, and now everything is clear. But I can't explain over the phone. You need to see for yourself. Tunde's mind raced. Where are you? I'm coming. As he hung up, Abakai walked in. What's going on? She asked, her eyes narrowing. I'm not giving up just like that, Tunde said firmly. Dosun knows what happened. I need to clear my name. I can't run away like a thief and become a fugitive in my own country for crimes I know nothing about. Abakai hesitated, then nodded. In that case, I'm coming with you. This sounds fishy. What if it's a setup? You could be walking into a trap here. No, Tunde said. You need to stay here and cover for me. If anyone asks, I'm still in my room, okay? Before she could argue, Tunde climbed out the back window and disappeared into the night. Tunde made his way through the dark streets, his heart pounding. He was halfway to the meeting point when a black Mercedes van screeched to a halt beside him. 3 masked men jumped out, grabbed him, and dragged him into the van. What do you want? Tunde shouted, struggling against their grip. You've got the wrong person. Let me go. But the men said nothing. They blindfolded him, and the van sped off into the night. Was this a setup? Was Dosun behind it all? What was his motive? And what secrets lay hidden in the shadows, waiting to be uncovered? Stay tuned for episode 4, where the truth behind the mystery begins to unravel, and Tunde's fight for justice takes a darker, more dangerous turn.